Good morning students. Today's topic is user-defined function with return value. So today we will learn how to return value from user-defined function. In our previous chapter we already covered some topic of user-defined function, how to create a function and what is the syntax of to create a function. So today we will learn return a value from your function. You can also return multiple value, but in this topic we first learn how to return a single value from a function. First, what you need to define a function. Here I have defined a function with name add. Def is a keyword, then give a single space, write the function name. Inside the parentheses, if you want to declare some, define some variable, then you can define here, use colon, and inside the body section, whatever the task you want to perform through this function, write statement and instruction for that task. So I want to perform addition, add these two variables, whatever the value stored inside A and B, it will be added and the result will assign in C. Now, I want to return the value that is stored inside C. So, how you can return that value through this function? In the end of the statement, you need to use return keyword. Through this return keyword, we can return any value from expression from variable, or you can also write here directly any value. So, whatever the value stored inside variable C, I want to return that value. Come out from this function. Here I have defined two variables x and y. Inside x and y, I'm going to assign value through the input function. So int and input function are built-in function. So the definition of int and input function are already given in our standard Python library. So through the input function, what we can do? We can take input from user through the interactive mode. So it will display enter value of a, sorry, there is a typing mistake, enter value of x. When it will display on your screen, enter the value of x, you will enter the value of x, but this input function return that value in form of string, but I need value in form of integer. So that's why I use int function outside this input function. That means whatever the value written by this input function, it will convert it into integer through this int function. So in this way I can take input from user and convert that string value into integer through this input function. In same way, I will take input from user for variable y and convert that value into string. Now, in the next statement, I have defined a variable z and I want to assign value into z through the function call. That's mean whenever I call this function, it will return some value and that value will be assigning to z. So what is the syntax to call a function? Write a function name and inside parentheses you will pass some argument. So what I am passing here, I am passing x and y. X and y contain some value and this value will be passed to the parameter, to this parameter. When I call this function, the interpreter, the controller will go in the starting of the program and start searching for that function. So here it is add function. A will contain whatever the value passed by x and B contain the value that is contained in the value that is pointed by y. So in this way, according to their position, I will pass the value to this parameter. So for example, assume that I have assigned 2 to x and 3 to y. So A contain 2 and B contain 3. So 2 plus 3, that is 5. Now C contain 5. What is currently C is holding? It holding 5 value. So here I am returning value 5. Come back from where I called this function. Now this add function is returning value 5 and that 5 value will be assigning to z. Now you can print that value. How you can print that value? Print the sum is comma z. So z contain 5, it will display 5. So you can look here, there is a screenshot of the output screen. Enter the value of a, sorry, there is a typing mistake. You can write here, enter the value of x, that is 12, enter the value of y, that is 23. Now 12 and 23, that is 35. The last line, that is the sum is jet. So what value jet contain? Whatever the value you have written. So I have written the value that is stored inside C. What is C is containing? C is containing the value a plus b, and a and b is holding 12 and 23. 12 and 23, that is 35. So in this way we can return the value from our function. Why we are returning value from the function? Why we cannot directly access these value, this variable outside the function? What happen when we start executing when we start executing our program? In our program, our controller start executing the command line by line. When it read the function definition, it will not execute this function, because the function only execute when we create, when we execute that, when we call that function. And then it move to next line. There is a x variable. It will create a x variable, and whatever the value, it will point to that value. Same way for y. Now here is a z variable. The z variable contains some value that is written by the add function. Here I am calling to add function. Now controller will go back and search for add function. Now it start executing add function. So as controller find that there are two variables, it will create this variable and assign the value inside this variable. So there are three variables actually, a, b, c, and when we completed our execution, controller will come out from this function. Whatever the variable that is created inside this function will be removed from memory. When these variable will create, when we start executing the function, whatever the variable you have used inside this function will create in the memory. When you come out from this function, whatever the variable you have created inside this function will be removed from the memory. So when the controller come out from this memory, and if you want to access a and b and c, then you cannot access ABC, because there is no variable inside the memory with the name ABC. So if you want to try, you can check that when you print ABC, any variable, it will raise error, because there is no variable with all these names. You can check. Let's move to the interactive mode. Here we will check how it will work. First, we need to define our own function. So we will write our program in a scripting mode. Inside the scripting mode, first write add a comma b. So add is a function name. A and b are parameter. Move inside the function. What I want to do, I want to perform addition. According to that, add a and b and assign that value in C. You can print the value of C here, and at the end of this function, you can return the value that is C. Come out from this function. X, assign the value to the x 10 and to the y, that is 20. I'm not using here input function because it's time consuming. And check that contain value, whatever value returned by add function. So you can print the value that is stored inside z. Z is equal to z. Now run this program. When you run this program, you can check. Okay, save this program. Okay, there is a Okay, indentation. You know that if you will give extra space in the starting, it will raise error. You can see here, this is your output screen, interacting mode. When first I will assign 10 to x and 20 to20 to y, and then z assign call a function. So z contain that value which is written by this function. Now call, we are doing here a call to a add function. You can, now we will execute add function line by line. So a contain value that is inside x, and b contain the value that is inside y. So the value will pass according to their position. And now a contain 10 and b contain 20. 10 and 20, that is 30. C, now c contain 30. Print c, it will print 30. So here it is return c. Now what here what is it is returning? It is returning 30 because c is containing 30. So come back from where we called to this function. So now this add function is returning 30. That 30 value will be assigned to z. And now we can check that print z is equal to z. So z is equal to, that is 30. Z also contain 30 because we are returning value that is inside C. So C contain 30. You can check if you want to access other the variable that is inside the function, and if you want to access that variable outside the function, it will raise error. You can check that. Now run this program, and now look here, it will raise error. There is name error. Name A is not defined. That's mean we cannot access all the variables that are inside the function. If you want to use that value that is inside some variable, then you can use those value outside the function using this return keyword. You need to return that value through this return keyword. And when we return any value, and that return value, we can store that return value inside some variable, and we can use that variable inside our program. So this is all about the return value. You can also return multiple value. For example, if here I am using another function that is called calculator. In short, I am writing a calculate, and for example, I am performing all the operation like addition, subtraction. So subtraction and multiplication. Assign A multiply B. I think that's enough. So remove this print statement. You can use that, but here right now I don't want to use this print statement. You can also return multiple value. Now here I am returning whatever the value stored inside A, and sub and null. So because this calculation function is returning 3 value, that means I need 3 variable on the left side of this equation. So that is L and M. So because this calculator function is returning 3 value, so I need 3 variable on the right side of this function. Add value will be returned to L, and sub, whatever the value stored inside sub, that will be assigned to M. Whatever the value stored inside mul, that is assigned to N. So you can execute this program, and you can also check. So okay, what I need to do here, remove this statement. So there is no Z, so you need to replace this Z with L. And if you want to print M and N also, repeat this statement. So replace L with M. Here it is M, and this last L with N. Now you can check here when I will do call to this function, I will pass 10 and 20 because x and y contain 10 and 20. 10 will be passed to A and 20 will be passed to B. And now what I want to do, I want to add these two numbers, that become 10 plus 20, that is 30. Now add function contain 30 value and subtract this sub variable will contain A minus B, 10 minus 20, that is minus 10, and mult contain 10 multiply 20, that is 200. So you can check whatever the value is inside A, that will be assigned to L, and whatever the value inside sub, that will be assigned to M, and whatever the value inside mult, that will be assigned to N according to their position. So run this program and you can check that. So here L is equal to 30 and M equal to minus 10, N is equal to 200. This is all about the return value. Through the return keyword, we can return multiple value, that is in form of expression, in form of value, in form of variable. But if you are writing here expression, then what happened? For example, in place of add, if I'm sorry, in place of add, if here I'm writing directly 22 minus 3. So here 22 minus 3. Run this program. What happened in this case? It will return this expression. No. First it will solve this expression and then return that value. You can check here, it will return 19. Okay, there is error. Oh, sorry. I just removed that comma from the print statement. Now you can run this program and check. Yes, now what is L contain? L contain 19 because the first value that is returned 22 minus 3. So what is 22 minus 3? That is 19. So L is according to the position, L is first. It contain the result that is passed first from this return keyword, and that is 19. So in this way we can return multiple value that may be in form of expression, but if it is in form of expression, then first we will solve that expression and then return. This is all about the return keyword and how to return function from our variable. Thank you.